Petroni radio program, heard exclusively on News Talk, Saga 960.
And we're back. It's Jocelyn Bamford in for the vacationing Mark Petroni. Closing out the program today, we have Dr. Patrick Moore, founder of EcoSense. And Dr. Moore was one of the founders of Greenpeace Canada, and he was the first person to ever bravely speak out about how activists have hijacked the environmental movement in Canada. His book, Confessions of a Greenpeace Dropout, is a must-read. It's the making of a sensible environmentalist. And thanks for joining us on the program, Dr. Patrick Moore.
Good morning, Jocelyn. Nice to speak with you.
And how is the weather out there on the West Coast today?
It's a bit foggy, but the sky is blue above, so I'm expecting it'll burn off pretty quickly.
Wonderful. We just had the Ontario Minister of the Environment, Jeff Urich, and the CEO of Husky Injection Moldings, John Galt, talking about the federal government's attempt to label plastics as toxic. So what are your thoughts about this?
Well, if plastics were toxic, we probably wouldn't wrap our food with them and put our food in them all the time when we put it in a microwave or whatever. I mean, plastic is about the most non-toxic thing there is. Wood is more toxic than plastic in that wood contains quite a few chemicals. But plastic is a pure substance. The polyethylene, polyurethane, polyvinyl chloride, otherwise known as vinyl or PVC, these products are non-toxic. That is why when they're in the ocean, which people are all worried about that there's plastic in the ocean, they should be concerned about wood in the ocean, because there's a lot of wood in the ocean. It comes down rivers when there are landslides and floods and gets broken up into pieces, and there's wood on the beach. And what's wrong with that? The fact is, 1,300 species of marine life make plastic their home when it's in the sea. They stick to it and grow on it, like pelagic barnacles are one of the main ones, and they use it as a way of living. So, and if you throw, for example, a plastic glass or a drinking plastic thing in the ocean, they'll live in there as a house and use it as a shelter if it's on the bottom of the sea. My fellow Greenpeacers back in the day were quite horrified that I would throw tin cans and plastic containers overboard so that they would sink to the bottom, where they would provide a home for creatures. And so this whole idea that plastic is bad and plastic is toxic is so completely stupid that I just don't understand how people can buy their meat with a plastic wrap on it, or buy their, take juice containers made of plastic. If it was toxic, we wouldn't use it for those things. And yet people don't put two and two together very well there, do they?
So you were the first one to kind of blow the lid on what happened within the environmental movement, and you were one of the founders of the environmental movement. Talk to us about what you think is motivating this ban on plastics in Canada.
Well, in the very bottom of it all is it's a proxy for the war against fossil fuels, because most plastics are made from coal, oil, and gas. PVC, for example, polyvinyl chloride, the monomer, which is vinyl chloride, is made from salt and natural gas. The chlorine comes from salt, which we all know, of course, is sodium chloride, which is an essential nutrient for most of life. Life wouldn't be the same without salt, and we ingest it both because we like what it does to the flavor, but also because it's an essential factor for our being alive, is having salt in your body. So there's the sodium chloride, and then natural gas is CH4, carbon hydrogen 4, and that's made from plankton. What most people don't realize is that all the fossil fuels are of life origin. They were made by plants and plankton. Plants made coal, mainly trees, and plankton made oil and gas in marine sediments. And so when we're drilling for gas in the prairies, for example, We are drilling into ancient marine sediments. The prairies were once a sea. That's why they're so flat, because that was the bottom of an ocean with sediments raining down on it from above, full of living material or material of life origin settling down on the bottom. And so the oil and gas and coal were all made by photosynthesis. They were all made by life, by the sun. So they're all products of solar energy. And people use words like dirty to describe the dirty oil from Alberta, for example. That's ridiculous. Oil is not dirty. Dirt is dirty, and dirt is good because we grow all our food in the dirt. So why would you use dirty as a bad word when, in fact, if your pants are dirty, that's a different thing. You need to wash them because they've got dirt on them. But the dirt was made by life, not by some alien being or some horrible bad person. It was made by living things. So if we could only orient ourselves a little bit differently towards seeing what's around us and understanding what's around us, the life has made so many things on this earth. And if you look around you at all the plants and all the animals and the birds, that's what's being made by the sunshine coming down on the earth. And it combines all the different elements, mainly carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Those are the three main elements of life. And the carbon comes from carbon dioxide, which is why when you burn fossil fuels, you're just putting the carbon dioxide back into the air from where it came in the first place to make the plants.
So, Dr. Moore, just quickly, because we're running out of time, Gerald Butts launched the Resilient Recovery, where this group promotes reimagining the new green economy after COVID. Of course, the Coalition of Concerned Manufacturers, in response to that, launched a responsible recovery. What are your thoughts on this Resilient Recovery and the group behind it?
Oh, it's all a bunch of propaganda, of course. The resilient recovery, they're using that as a term to mean stop using fossil fuels. And that's all it means. It doesn't mean much else. And it's stupid because it would ruin the economy. It wouldn't make a resilient economy. It would make a ruined economy. And so we've got to recognize that one of Canada's great strengths is our energy resources. We are an amazing country in that 60% of all our electricity is from hydroelectric, from renewable water energy in Quebec, in British Columbia, in Ontario in particular. 60%, and then another 15% of our energy is coming from nuclear power, and we've forgotten that for some reason. We should be looking to what Russia is doing. They are now the world's leader in nuclear technology. Even the United States quit building them practically. And it's time that we started to think about that again. It is the energy of the future. There's fuel for tens of thousands of years, unlike fossil fuels, which we probably should be, conserving to what extent we can. We could be replacing fossil fuels by nuclear energy for running ships, for running our electricity, for heating our homes and cooling our homes. And we're not going in. And now they just want to shut everything down. And if you shut everything down, you're not going to have a resilient economy. I can assure you of that.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Patrick Moore. Check him out on EcoSense. And that is it for the Mark Petroni Show. I'm Jocelyn Bamford, your guest host. Stay tuned tomorrow for Peter Gossman at the helm.